Mafia!
This is Eagles Talk on A2D Radio, and as always, we are brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention A2D Radio to get 10% off your in-store purchase. We've got some. It's loaded up in here. It's a party here right to kick off the show. Not only do we have Les joining us right off the bat, but Mr. Rob Brickman is back from his month-long vacation. Gentlemen, and of course PY is here as always to annoy me. So, gentlemen, how's everyone feeling after the Eagles win that doesn't feel like a win?
It's a win. I feel like a win.
Who says? I haven't really been on social media all day. Is that what really people are saying? Doesn't feel like a win?
Yeah, the pulse of the fan base and social media in general is like,
we would have sold our souls to start 4-0 once we got that schedule.
That's all true.
I don't give a shit.
But my point is, if the offense had worked just a little bit in the second half, if they'd been able to kick one field goal or two field goals instead of punting 6 times in a row, it would feel so much different.
Oh, so much different.
I mean, you could say the same thing. Maybe if the defense doesn't give up 2 70-yard touchdowns, we might feel a little bit better.
No, well, the defense, though, got you 2 turnovers and 2 fourth-down stops in the second half.
And really did its job overall. So we'll get into that. We got a lot to talk about regarding this one, and I definitely want to get the discussion going. So let's get right into our poll question. The run blocking issues are a bigger concern for the Eagles than the passing attack play calling. Agree or disagree? Rob, since you haven't been on, I want to get your opinion because you know a lot has happened since the last time you were on. 4 games into the Eagles season has happened. So let's get your thoughts. What's the bigger issue right now? The lack of a run game or the passing game that's been wildly inconsistent?
No, it's the run blocking. They really missed Mekhi Becton. Lane Johnson has missed time in both of the last 2 games. Shout out to Fred Johnson, though, who's really come in and solidified that part. But then when Steen goes down, and Steen's not as good as Becton, and then Pryor's not as good as Steen, so he's definitely not as good as Becton. That's where they're lacking right now. Jalen Hurts and this offense is not the offense that throws to set up the run. That's not how it works. That wasn't the formula last year. I don't think that's the formula unless you have a Peyton Manning who doesn't even need an offensive coordinator and can just call the game by himself. Unless you have a quarterback like that, you run to set up the pass. I mean, has Saquon Barkley broken anything of substance up the middle this season? By my eyes, no. I mean, he's been okay, but the holes aren't there.
Nope.
And for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to be able to produce like I think they both want to produce. I don't think Devontae Smith is the happiest of campers with how the offense is going either, but he's not a loudmouth. He's not a loudmouth like A.J. Brown, so it doesn't get talked about, but they were both visibly upset after the game yesterday.
Yep.
And, that's fine. That's fine. But if they can get back to pounding the rock up the middle, it's going to open up for these guys. And they're 4-0. They haven't played 60 minutes of good football, and they've beaten 3 Super Bowl contenders and a Dallas team that I haven't quite figured out yet. I don't think anyone's figured out yet. So they might be good. They might not be. I don't know. Time will tell. But, the 3 Super Bowl contenders you beat, 2 of which on the road. We got first world problems here in Philadelphia. These are all first world problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll touch on Kevin Patullo if you want later in the show. If you want
time. We're gonna get into like the nitty gritty of the offense.
Cue the trash can
in a bit. But Les, what do you think? I think I know what you're gonna say because I saw your retweets of certain people. But what say you to the poll question?
I think it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. I really think if they fixed either one of them, the other one would follow right along. The times that they've had a good passing game going, like in the second half last week and the first half this week, the runs have actually worked. They haven't sprung Saquon Barkley for anything wonderful, but in those situations, they were actually running for decent yardage. But then when the passing game stops running, then the running game seems to stop running as well. That second half yesterday was like nothing I've ever seen, Frank. It was, for the coaching staff, it had to be humiliating, really. I don't know, which is the run blocking isn't a big issue in terms of the long run for me, because they can do it, except if it's injury related, which it might be. I mean, if they're just too banged up to do this, like, for instance, Landon Dickerson is playing badly right now. Now, bless him for going out there if he's really hurt, but it's not working.
Yeah.
That's a big issue. If they can't get people healthy, if they can't keep Lane Johnson in a game, things like that. But as far as I expect otherwise that they'll work out the run game stuff. The passing game play calling, this is something that has been an issue for a long time through different offensive coordinators. I don't know if its root is Jalen Hurts. I don't think it is. I think the root is Nick Sirianni, who I don't think really, for all the wonderful stuff he does as a head coach, I don't think he has a great passing scheme. I don't think his route concepts are good. I don't think, I think it's a pretty simple, pretty easy to defend, easy to figure out setup, as Todd Bowles showed you in the second half yesterday. That's a huge concern to me, because it can't be this hard. There's no injury problem, with Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert right now, and they still just can't produce anything consistently. And that kind of worries me a little more if we're going to say that the run blocking will work when everybody's healthy. I guess that's a complicated answer, but in terms of just how do you fix this, the passing might be a little harder, a little trickier.
Yeah. PY, what say you?
So I think it's a combination of things. Like, the run game is a big issue right now, just due to the fact that the pass blocking is not great. Landon is having his worst pass blocking year. Obviously, I think Steen has played really well. I don't think he's been the greatest run blocker, but they also have been trying to use some of the tight ends to block, and they can't. They couldn't block me.
Yeah.
I think I'd be able to get around Calcaterra and Granson. Like, they're like, that's how bad they're playing. Like, not to mention, like, Lane's missed time. Like, Fred Johnson's been phenomenal. They also keep trying to make Matt Pryor happen.
Yeah.
Stop that, please, for the love of God.
He only got like 5.
Wait, what do you complain about Matt Pryor for yesterday? He barely did anything.
I don't want him in there at all. I don't.
PY, he's not a tackle. He's a guard. So when he came in at guard, he was fine. I mean, I know it wasn't for long, but like he's adequate as a guard. I don't know why you're complaining about him. If he's in there at tackle over Fred Johnson, I hear you. Yeah, but if he's in there at guard, I have no problem with it. I think it's the right move.
I just don't trust him out there.
Huh?
But I think a big issue also with the run game is they know the scheme. Like, it's so obvious that we're going to run on first down. Every look that we get, they know we're running. There's no mystique. Jalen's the only thing that's adding any intrigue to the run game right now, because at least with him, you're like, all right, cool. Maybe he can get a big run or something, which
Not only do they know you're running, but they know exactly how you're running.
Exactly.
And it's really a problem. And Saquon Barkley keeps talking about this, about how teams had the whole offseason to look at the Eagles' run game and break it down and figure out what they needed to do. And they need to do something else. I mean, it's just they don't seem to grasp that somehow. I'd love to be in on their meetings and hear what they say. It's frustrating.
It is. It is definitely frustrating. Before I get to the Broncos touchdown, before I get to the or before I answer the poll question, I'm gonna get to the chat real quick. So we got a bunch of good comments. Chris Kaufman says WIP is pushing hard to burn down the relationship.
Of course they are. They've been doing it for like 4 years.
Yeah. Andrew Baker says interior of the O-line is not playing good right now. Saquon is running into brick walls, but 4-0 is 4-0, so got to keep going. Joe Horakovsky says, let's just beat the Broncos 40-10, full 60. Tired of hearing AJ Brown's bull. Jonathan Harvey says, agree to the poll, but if the Eagles would add normal elements to their offensive strategy, notice the Lions, Rams, Packers, name a few, it will improve. Eagles are a strict diet offense under Nick. That's fair. Joe Horakovsky says, Jalen was 15 of 16 for 130 yards, passing 2 touchdowns and 4 yards rushing. Can't play any better. Second half, they just phoned it in. Ryan Swope, this is a very controversial comment, I'll say. Playing it and getting by is not sustainable. Jalen Hurts saying all he does is win, but a lot of the wins aren't because of him. And then Joe has a good reply to that. Says Jalen has never said all he does is win. He said keep the main thing, which the main thing is to win the game. Horrible take. Yeah, so
that makes no sense. Like, it's not because of him. He's the quarterback. He plays a big part in victories.
Yeah.
Like, you win more with him when he's not on the field. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'll take the quarterback who doesn't need to have the flashy stats every week, doesn't need 450 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, or something ridiculous. Right. Guess what? Do what you got to do to win. I don't give a crap what it looks like.
Right.
You can have 100.
And more to the point, he's won a Super Bowl. He's not going anywhere. And at this point in his career, he's probably not going to change a whole lot. So,
yeah. So for the poll question, I'm going to agree to the poll question. I think you all bring up fair points. The one rebuttal to what you said, Rob, is that I think running it up the middle, I don't think is the answer, or having success running up the middle is the answer. I think right now with your interior playing the way it is, I think the way you unlock it is trying to get to the outside. I think they called 3 counter runs, 1 pitch. So out of all their run plays, they had 4 run plays that were designed to the outside, no outside zone yesterday, from what I recalled. It's too much stuff to the inside, to the interior. I don't, and I said this last week, and I'm just repeating myself, but like, I don't know how the blocking gets better unless if the guys just get better. Like if it gets
play better.
Play better. Landon Dickerson's got to get healthier and get back to it. Cam Jurgens has to get back to playing better. Tyler Steen is what he is. If he could reach another level, then cool. But like, I'm not upset. I'm not like necessarily upset at Tyler Steen.
He's played solid.
Solid. Like, he's not Mekhi Becton. And I know that we missed Mekhi Becton in the run game, but like Tyler Steen also, I'd say, like I said last week, is an improvement from Mekhi in terms of pass protecting. So it's kind of like a trade-off. And I don't again like Mekhi Becton, I miss him. I wish him well, but like that's not something I necessarily like will buy into. Is that take? I think we're fine with Steen. The issue more so is Jurgens, Dickerson. Mailata has had his ups and downs, but the tackles don't worry me as long as they're on the field. It's the interior. So I don't know how else you fix it unless they just get better. Now, can they get better? Yeah, because Dickerson can get healthier as the season goes on, but like, how long exactly will it take for him to get close to 100%. I don't know. The other issue with the run game is that, like, I think PYU had mentioned it, but like on first down, they're running on first down way too much. It's so predictable. And then, like, especially in the second half, they were running into so many loaded boxes.
Yeah.
I don't know why last week they were trying to skirt the truth or like deny the truth of what's obvious, but they are running into 8-man boxes. It's not even fair. Like, it's that first run in the second half where Saquon got met in the backfield for that negative run. Like, they had no chance. The defender was unblocked in the backfield. No chance. Saquon had no chance at all. And that's what happens when you run into a stacked box. You're outnumbered, so there's nothing you can do. And then
it's also what happens when the defense knows exactly what you're doing.
What you're gonna do. Yeah.
And this is true in the run game and the pass game yesterday.
Yeah.
The second half, Todd Bowles was just playing with them. It was like, oh, you're going to throw it over here. Okay, I'm going to put 3 guys right there. I mean, what the hell? I was waiting for them to figure something out, try something different. It was like they just totally lost their composure as a play calling group.
It's frustrating because it gets so, like, the Eagles were doing a good job in the first half, but we talk about adjustments, right? Like, and Todd Bowles, over the years, he's had success against Jalen Hurts because of all the blitzing. Well, the first half we said the blitzing ain't going to work today because we know how to beat it. Well, second half comes, and what does Todd Bowles do? He completely stops blitzing. Like, it was a lot of simulated pressures and a lot of like, hey, we're going to crowd the line of scrimmage to show blitz, but then we're only going to send 4 still and drop everyone in the coverage. And you're going to have to decide who's going to pick out who's going to who's going to be coming in, and you're going to have to beat us through the air with 7 guys in coverage. And we could not figure it out. And there were a lot of other things.
Even figure out the blocking, by the way. Yeah. Even without the blitz, there were free rushers coming in.
Yeah. Yep. It's free rushers. That's what happens when you simulate pressures like that. When you have everyone crowding the line of scrimmage, you don't know who's going to come. So, like, they would slide protection one way, but then they would only have 2 defenders coming in, and then they would be outnumbered on the other side. So, like, it's a lot of, as I was watching the film in the second half, it wasn't just one thing. And I know that the easy thing, PY, is to pile on Kevin Patullo, and he takes a lot of blame. He takes a lot of blame, but I also don't think it's just on him. No. We talk about execution with the run blocking. That's not on Kevin Patullo. We talk about the receivers executing certain routes, and one of the things that my friend Shane Half pointed out is that on these concepts where you have clear out routes, both AJ and Devontae are not running full speed, so they're not clearing out the defender. So who is that on? Is that on Kevin Patullo? No, that's on the player. Another thing is, and we can speculate, we don't know for sure, but it's possible. Was Jalen Hurts concussed? I think so, because after that hit, he was off. I'm telling you right now, and especially throwing downfield. He had 2 deep shots to AJ Brown in the second half that were just completely off target and went out of bounds. No chance for AJ. Yeah. And then on that final possession where they were backed up in their own territory and they went 3 and out with 3 targets to AJ, all of them were bad decisions or bad throws.
Yeah.
And the first down one was an inaccurate throw by Hurts. The second one was a poor decision to force it that was almost picked off. And the third one was just late. It was a tad bit late. So Hurts didn't play exactly well in the second half. So it's again,
that's an interesting idea. In 2025 though, I just don't know if you could really do that. If nobody would know on the sideline, nobody would get any idea, or we're a day later now that they wouldn't know a day later that he was concussed and put him in the protocol. I mean, that's real. 20 years ago, sure. That kind of stuff happened all the time.
I mean, Malcolm Jenkins literally did it a few years ago where he skirted.
It was more than a few years ago. That was
he's talking
more
about
than 5 years ago.
You're probably right.
And he plays safety. He's not
Yeah.
the quarterback. People aren't conversing with him on the sideline every play. I don't know. I mean, it's an intriguing idea. It really is. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's tougher now.
It is tougher, Les, and you're probably right. What I will say is, like, what I'm wondering is when he got hit, like, whether it was a defender or if it was the ground, I was surprised they didn't pull him.
Yeah.
I was surprised someone didn't call down to check on him because you could tell he was groggy, and maybe he wasn't concussed. It's probable, but I'm like, that was questionable, and I was just like, I'm very surprised he's still in there. And then we just didn't see a good Hurts from then on. So I don't know what it was. Again, it's speculation. I could be completely wrong.
How about Tampa's good? Todd Bowles is good.
But they didn't suddenly become great over the halftime break. I mean, they're very good, but nobody's that good.
I mean,
that was just unbelievable.
They made excellent.
You can't go 0 for 8.
They made excellent adjustments at the half, and the Eagles didn't. Look, Eagles.
That's certainly true. Yeah, but
the Eagles need to go back to the drawing board strategically on offense, because last year Saquon just took this entire thing by storm and was just lights out from Brazil to the Super Bowl, and no one could stop it for whatever reason, whether it's Becton or the continuity or health or whatever you want to call it. That running attack, I mean, they had how many 200-yard rushing games last year? They didn't even have to work hard to do it. Like, they laced up their boots, their cleats off the bus, and they started the game with 200 yards rushing. If they didn't get 200 yards rushing, it was like, oh, like, is the running game okay? Like, what are we doing? So they need to figure out, because, Chucks, you mentioned the 8-man boxes. That's exactly what's happening. Teams are determined not to let Saquon Barkley bust them up.
Yeah, agree.
So whether they have to, they got to figure out a way to get ease up that defense so they're not facing these loaded boxes the entire game, so Saquon can do his thing. Because you don't throw, I don't care what year it is. This take is timeless, it's ageless, it's football 101. The run sets up the pass, not the other way around, especially with the type of quarterback that the Philadelphia Eagles have.
Disagree with you there, though, Briggs. This isn't the same NFL. It's not that anymore. I think there are a lot of things that have kind of proven that you don't have to have a dominant run game to set up play action and set up the pass. And if you open up things up top through the passing game, that does force defenses to not crowd the box.
But Chuck, the only thing they're doing right now to ease up those 8-man boxes is Jalen Hurts running up the middle, which he's done very successfully on the whole this year.
Well, no, I hear you on that, but I don't think it's as simple as, okay, like, you need to run up the middle and
that's fine. I agree with what you're saying, but they need to go about the passing game in a different way to start football games to loosen up these defenses. Because we're going to see both these teams again.
I just don't see why they can't scheme guys open like other teams do.
That's been the question.
I don't understand it. I don't understand why they can't run a rub route without getting flagged. I don't understand, why they ran one slant to A.J. Brown. He caught it for a first down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I saw another one the whole game.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Well, I mean, it's like the one other game, they ran him all on slants, and then that became predictable, and now they don't run any. It's like this team can't figure out the happy medium. It's like it doesn't have to be one extreme or the other. Like,
I guess Chuck's my overlying point here is last year's formula needs to be tweaked because it's not
100%. Yeah.
I think we all agree.
Yeah,
They
agree
got
on that.
another really good team. I don't know what's going on. Looks like it's 14-3 Broncos. Not really surprising.
Denver was supposed to be a good team. I don't. Yeah,
I don't think who they're supposed to be and who they are have met each other yet.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And this is going to be another.
It's still not a bad team, certainly.
It's not a bad
I
team.
don't
They have a
think
lot
they're
of good
bad.
players, but like they're going to need to. Like, you don't think Sean Payton and that defense? I forget who is it Raheem Morris, their defense coordinator? No, he's the coach for Atlanta. I forget.
No, that's Atlanta Falcons coach. I can look it up.
But they have a lot of good players on defense. They have a lot of good players on offense. So like they're gonna have to tweak this formula.
Vance Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a name. Yeah,
That's a name. Been around a while. Like they're going to have to do something.
Wouldn't it be nice to see the Panthers show up on the schedule one of these weeks?
I know, right?
Jeez Louise. I mean, this is the easy part of the schedule.
It's going to get a lot easier.
I guess.
After the
If you're sure that the Giants aren't any good, even though Jackson Dart won yesterday.
Well,
Yeah.
they have no game-breaking ability with Malik Neighbors out.
Nope.
They finally played. They finally started playing their best quarterback, and now they lost their game-breaking receiver.
Yeah,
because they don't fix their turf.
That is a graveyard. Like, did you see like the list of like guys who have gotten hurt on that?
Yeah, that's nothing new. We there's so many injuries.
Well, anyway, after this, we got two against the Giants, which should be wins because I don't think Jackson Dart without Malik Neighbors is going to fare too well
against this defense.
Against this defense, which is we haven't talked about it yet, which is
we will.
Absolutely lights out, phenomenal. And then I forget if it's a home game or a road game, but you play the Vikings and with Carson Wentz.
Carson
If Carson Wentz is in there,
please,
Carson
God,
Wentz,
please. I deserve good things.
Yeah. So like
AJ McCarthy's in there off the IR.
Yeah. Either one. Like McCarthy's not
scaring me either.
Yeah. McCarthy's not scaring me either. I think that with the offense, there's so many things that can be fixed, but I do think they will get fixed. Like we need to remember time last year we were having not the same issues, but we were having concerns and we weren't sure like what's going on. Like how can we fix this? And it still makes me laugh that I see so many fans saying I miss Kellen Moore. This time last year, people wanted Kellen Moore fired. They wanted Vic Fangio fired. They wanted everyone fired. So that's why I say let's pump the brakes a little bit, on the firing every 2 seconds. I think they still deserve time to figure it out.
Right.
But Kevin Patullo deserves so much criticism right now. There's a lot of boneheaded things he's doing, but I'm still willing to wait and see what he can figure out and learn.
Yeah.
And again, it's not just him; it's execution by the players. They have to figure it out.
And all that stuff.
So,
but it does bother me that in getting an offensive coordinator this time around, on my earlier point, I think sometimes Sirianni is a weakness when it comes to the offensive scheme.
Yes,
they took the guy's offensive coordinator who's like Sirianni's mini-me, who's been with him forever, and you're not going to get a lot of outside the box thinking.
Nope.
From
you're not. Yeah.
From the guy who's been with Sirianni for half his life. And that does bother me a little bit. I don't know what you can do. The problem with hiring a good offensive coordinator is exactly what happened last year and with Shane Steichen before that. You don't keep them. Yeah. I wish there was a way that you could find like a Vic Fangio of offense, an older guy who doesn't want to be a head coach again and is going to come here and run the offense. But Nick would never give up that level of control over the offense. So it's a moot point. But I honestly think that the Eagles could go unbeaten if they had an offensive coordinator who really got how to do this, in 2025.
I agree. Like I would
dive into his progressions though through 4 weeks. Like Kevin Patullo, let's Dallas and Kansas City weren't good offensively.
No.
None of these guys played in the preseason. Let's count those as the 2 preseason games, okay?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you won both of them. One in Kansas City and one against a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the Rams at home. The Rams are jacked.
Yeah,
the Rams are I think, what are they? 10-3 in their last 13 games. All 3 losses.
They're a very good team.
So you get hit in the mouth a little bit. You go into halftime. You make adjustments, and you have a gangbusters second half.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that tells me he can, whether it's Sirianni, Jalen.
That's a good point.
Nick,
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
100% brings. I love that point. It is a good sign.
Now you go down to Tampa, and it's in their head with the Heat. They went down early. They broke routine, which I didn't like, by the way, but it worked out. So we'll give that a break. You have a gangbusters first half. That tells me, okay, Kevin, you and your offensive staff, you can script plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is good. And then Todd Bowles kind of just was the ace of spades, trump card in the second half. His adjustments on defense, which he's always had Jalen Hurts' number for whatever reason. He trumped you on your adjustments, and you didn't have an answer. So now what he needs to figure out how to do is how to build a script to start fast, which we've seen, and accompany that with halftime adjustments to, counter the guys on the other side.
So yeah, that's a good point, and I'm gonna
and firing a new offensive coordinator 2 games into the season, like,
it's stupid.
Do you want to be the Browns? Do you want to be the Jets? Do you want to be
nobody's
the
going to do that, especially when you're 4-0. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So good point. I want to build on that with it because Joe says, well, yeah, they didn't make any second half adjustments because they played perfect in the first half. What was there to adjust?
You always have to make adjustments.
You have to make it like Vic Fangio said this, I think 2 weeks ago, and he said the halftime adjustments thing is so overblown because him as a coach, he's constantly making adjustments in game. You have to consider that. You don't make adjustments just at halftime. Maybe a lot of things can be talked upon at halftime, but if you're a good offensive coordinator and you see what Todd Bowles is doing in the second half, you have to think quickly and tweak something to counter that. You can't just say, oh, well, he has this counter in the second half to what we did in the first half. I can't do anything after that. You can't just stay complacent for one half of football just because halftime is over. It doesn't work like that. So, I hear you. I'm glad you brought that up, Brinks, because he has shown the ability to add new things and to adjust. Again, I don't want to defend Kevin Patullo because overall he's not doing a good enough job, and there are a lot of dumb things he's doing and dumb calls, and mainly in the running game that I don't like. But I think there's this narrative or this assumption, and I think Ryan Swope talks about it here. He's like, stop with the constant 5 to 10 yard passes. That's why Hurts only gets 120 yards passing most games. And then he just follows it up and asks, why don't they attack more downfield? I think you guys really need to look at the film because they are in the first half, they are trying to attack downfield. They are calling routes and plays that are going down, that are trying to attack the middle, the deep area of the field. So it's not they're opening this up. It's not like they're opening this games up and being like, okay, everything's short. No, they have been trying to call plays downfield. You guys just have to understand it's not so much calling plays downfield. It's the concepts they're running are predictable to where no one can get open.
Right. That's well said. Yes.
Les, we talked about it, right? Last week, so many 2x2 sets. There's only so many passing concepts you can run off of a 2-man route concept. There's only so many. And it doesn't really help to scheme guys open. And then if you're running a 3x1 set, if you don't have the issue with running a 3x1 set now is okay, if it's AJ on the backside who's isolated, you can't just rely on it. Worked against the Rams, but you can't just rely on go routes, slants, and stop routes as AJ's only routes that he's going to run because the defense is going to key on.
In that Rams second half, he was against a much smaller guy 1-on-1,
Yep.
Yes.
and he just took the ball away from the guy.
Mhm.
Yesterday it was usually two guys, one on top and one underneath, and contributing to the problem. And we really haven't discussed this. AJ just sort of like, oh, we're doing this again. I mean, those were some crappy routes he ran. He did not want. He was like, "Oh, you're throwing me the ball. You're not really throwing me the ball. I'm going to trot back to the huddle here." I didn't like that a bit. I'm generally sympathetic to AJ because I don't think they do a great job scheming for him. But you did not get I'm going to take the ball and save this game effort from him yesterday at all. At all.
Yeah. So before we switch over, because I do want to touch on the defense because they deserve more of the spotlight here. So I do want to touch on them. But before we transition to that, I do want to touch on this not too long. I don't want to get too into it, but obviously AJ Brown's comments. Or not comments, AJ Brown's tweet with that quote. What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't have many thoughts to it, but I'll start with Brinks and then we'll go to PY then Les. What are your thoughts on that and the whole thing? Because we have this comment here by Slim Reaper. He says, honestly, I'm really getting sick. I'm tired of AJ. We don't need that diva energy. I just watched his 2022 highlights. He is not the same player. He's slower and can't get separation. I disagree with that, but
that's
right.
Did we not just see him go for like $130 against the Rams? Like, can we just not? Like, I get it. Like, I hate to tell people this.
Well, PY, let Brinks go first. Like, I'm gonna go around the horn before you get into it. So, Brinks,
this is a whole bunch of nothing. This is what these receivers do, whether it's Moss or To from other generations or whatever top receiver, they're all divas. If they have 13 catches and 200 yards and a couple touchdowns and the team loses, they're going to go to the media and say, "Oh, I'd rather have 2 catches for 20 yards and we win." Then when you win and they don't do good and they don't contribute, they don't like that either. So the only way to keep a diva wide receiver like AJ Brown happy is for him to have 13 catches for 200 yards and you win every game by 50 points. That's so like I can't cater my game plan to that when the only scenario he's going to be happy is really an unrealistic scenario in the NFL, especially when you have a lot of mouths to feed. Last time I checked, unless they changed the rules while I was on vacation, there's only one football out there for Jalen Hurts to throw around. Goddard's getting his. They're going to run the ball. That's what Nick wants to do. You have Devontae Smith, and then you have other fodder like Mechie and Dotson who are really going to have to wait to get theirs until, things really open up with this run game. So, I mean, and like they're not trading AJ Brown, like whether he's on the
couldn't do that from a cap standpoint if they wanted to, and they don't want to.
Whether he's on the team next year or not, like who cares? Like we're in week 4 trying to repeat. I'll worry about next year in March.
Yes.
So like he's gonna be here. I'm under the strong belief that you need a game-breaking wide receiver like AJ Brown to win a Super Bowl in today's NFL. And with all due respect to Devontae Smith, who's a very good player, AJ Brown is just a tick above Devontae Smith in pretty much all forms. Like I guess it could happen where Devontae Smith took over a football game and won it for you, but I've seen AJ Brown do it multiple times on 2 different teams.
Mm-hmm.
So just let him tweet and read his book and tell him when the game starts on Sunday, and just deal with it because you need him.
Yeah, PY.
So this is a nothing burger. He's been doing this the last few years. They start off slow or the offense isn't doing what it wants to do. Look, he's a wide receiver 1. This is what they do. They want the ball. They want to contribute. They want to feel like they're making a difference in the game. Like, I'd be upset if AJ Brown wasn't upset. I'd be mad if AJ Brown was just cool with what things are going. This is what he does. He tweets. The next week, he has a monster performance, and we're kind of back on track. Like, this is just what he does. Like, I'm not throwing shade at Patullo, but like, we're all throwing scripts out there. Like, I just don't understand how in the script we can't set up some smart, easy plays for your wide receiver one to get him going, to make him happy, to make the defense be aware that that's AJ Brown out there. We have to double cover him. We have to leave him. We can't leave him open. Helping Devontae Smith to get open, helping Dallas Goedert to get open, obviously helping Mechie and Dotson and it's not that I don't love Saquon, but like I don't need to be throwing the ball to Saquon like 6, 7, 8 times in the first half, like especially when it's not working, and especially when the run game isn't working right now because it's not. He's averaging what, like less than 3 yards a carry? Like, obviously, A.J. Dillon isn't better than A.J. Brown. I mean, than Saquon Barkley, but, like, he's finding holes. Like, he's able in the limited.
Don't start this.
I'm not saying any.
He's finding holes. Don't.
He is finding holes.
I know what you're talking about.
In his limited options, he's found.
So what are you alluding to, PY?
I'm not alluding to anything. Stop getting your panties in a bunch. You're getting emotional. Just relax.
Who are you talking about that's finding holes? Saquon?
I said AJ. I said AJ Dillon.
He would say, you know, like I know AJ's not better, but like AJ Dillon's finding holes. Why can't Saquon?
I'm not. This isn't a Saquon thing. I'm saying that guys are able to do what they have to do. Like I love Saquon, but I don't understand why we're throwing the ball to him like 5, 6, 7 times in the first half. That makes no sense.
Because when Saquon is in the football game, they load the box. These teams are determined, like 2,000 yards is the NFL got together in the offseason and said, if we're playing the Eagles, Saquon's not beating us.
That's great.
So they change their defensive strategy when 26 goes off the field and 29 comes in.
That's great. A.J. Brown is still on that field. A.J. Brown is available. A.J. Brown can make a difference. Like.
Yeah. I agree with that.
In a game, this would be a different story.
I sniffed a hint of Saquon slander.
There's no Saquon slander. I love Saquon. He's a phenomenal player.
I want Saquon to get 5 to 6 catches.
Why is it such a big deal that they're throwing, like when they're getting blitzed heavy up the middle and there's free rushers everywhere? Why are you so against it?
If it's effective, I'm fine with it. But it wasn't that effective on Sunday. Like, we're not going.
He had a really nice
if they keep loading the box, one of these checkdowns to Saquon is going 80 yards to the house.
One was a big game.
I would love that. I would love for that to happen. But with Saquon not being as effective as he is to start the season, like obviously, if he was doing what he was doing last season, $150 every game. I would say AJ is being a stop.
We're getting.
He's not even letting me finish talking. So,
but we're way off.
No, but you're getting too much off a tangent. You're getting too much of a tangent. I'm merely saying because you said I don't think we need to be throwing the ball to Saquon 5 to 6 times a game, and I pushed back on that. I didn't say in that game. I said in the first half. In the first half, we were targeting him too much. Get him. I think it's fine to get Saquon targets in the passing game. That's the only thing. Everything else, I agree with you. Les, before you have to go, what is your take on this whole AJ Brown thing?
Yeah, the Bible verse kind of bothered me a little bit because of what it said. This wasn't exactly like the other things that we've had. Some of those have been totally manufactured over the last few years. This kind of wasn't. This is him posting a Bible verse. It was colloquialized. It wasn't really the version of the Bible that most of us have read. But if you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way. That's that's an issue.
That's a Patullo shade, 100%.
Yeah, that's an issue to me. This is a guy who feels like he's not being listened to by somebody, and I assume it's Patullo. The larger issue here, and I wrote about this today for PHLY, by the way, if I can get in a plug. You had him he shook Jeff McClain's hand and walked away.
Yeah.
You had Devontae Smith not there when they opened the locker room to reporters. And you had Lane Johnson declining comment. Now, I covered the team a long time, and I don't remember ever going to the locker room after a win and having 3 key players not available to talk. 3 key offensive players. There's something here that really needs to get this. They could use a come to Jesus meeting with a lot of people. I kind of feel like, there's an issue here that needs to be addressed, and it's not just with AJ. This was remarkably troubling to me. That if your argument is going to be they're 4-0, everything's wonderful. Shut up, stop making waves about nothing. I think yesterday's locker room was a pretty solid rebuttal to that, frankly. If the players think it's a problem, it's a problem. So anyway, but with AJ, I didn't like his body language during the game. I think they really need to get on the same page with him, to figure out something to get him open. You don't have to throw it to him 9 times like they did yesterday when he's not open. But you have to figure out ways to get him open and get him at least 3 or 4 meaningful touches. Meaningful touches, real, chances to score a touchdown touches. And if you can't do that, then you have a problem. That's my feeling.
I think that with AJ Brown, I don't really care that I don't really care about all the noise. I'll put it that way. I don't care about the media and their fans making a big hoopla about all this. This is like PY and Brinks, you guys said, this is a common theme we've had, especially last season, where if the passing game isn't working, he does something, right? There's something that he riles up, something he says, a comment, and I don't.
But last year it was just him saying, "Hey, we've got to get this fixed."
Yeah, it was.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Yeah. There is nothing wrong with saying that. And then with this cryptic tweet, I get it. And so it's usual. Do I prefer a player to do that? I do not. It's not my thing that I prefer. I would rather. I prefer the way that Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley kind of go about things. Jordan Mailata too is a great leader and whatnot. It's become a great leader in that locker room. That's how I prefer. However, I think over the years I've also learned that there are more ways to lead, different styles of leading, and this was even an issue. This was a topic last year with Darius Slay. A lot of people, he was a captain, but the way he went about his business, people didn't like, fans didn't like. He was on podcasts and all of that, and all I said was, this is his personality. This is the way he leads, and every single person, the way they lead is not going to be the way player A leads or whatnot. So AJ Brown has his personality. It is what it is. I think that in the end, it's going to be fine. I think that this locker room knows who he is, and this locker room knows he has the best intentions, even though sometimes he says stuff where that should be buttoned up. But I don't think it comes at a place of malice. I think for me, he's gonna have to be doing sit-ups in his driveway for me to really be fed up. You know what I mean? It's gonna have to get to that level for me to be like, okay, AJ, stop. You know what I mean? So.
Or telling Patullo not to speak to him unless spoken to.
Yeah. It has to get the TO levels of drama for me to really think it's an issue. So it is what it is. I don't care about all the noise. It's going to I think it's going to pass. And in a way, I do think that even though it wasn't the best means of doing it, in a way, I think it's still a good thing that it's brought up because again, I think this team has proven with its leadership and its culture, they know how to fix things and get through adversity. So like, I don't. They deserve the benefit of the doubt to be able to figure things out. It's week 4 of, you said it multiple times, Brinks. It's week 4 of 2025. It's a long season. And I think a lot of fans during the season forget that a lot of things that happen in September don't stick when it comes to the season long. Like September, week 1 is like overreaction central. September is still a lot of like overreaction stuff when it comes to season long projections and how things end up. So I'm not worried really for how things will go, but I know a lot of fans, I have seen a lot of fans get tired of AJ, and I think that's a little ridiculous. He's not going anywhere. So yeah. Les, you can either stick around. I do want to talk about the defense a little bit, but if you have
a little bit. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we talked 50 minutes about the offense, I guess, because that's the hot button topic. But I do want to spend time to talk about the defense because they deserve so much credit. And so, like, I'll say my quick spiel is that like the defense essentially played the whole second half. So, like, and they really buttoned down. I mean, the effort that they had on there. Now, I know they gave up 2 explosive plays, and that sucks. And those would definitely like. They have to get fixed. And I think every week now, I think PY, you said in our chat, or was it Jake? I forget. But every week, the defense has given up an explosive play, which is very uncharacteristic of a Vic Fangio defense. So that has to get buttoned up. And Vic Fangio was really, really mad to see those plays. But if you take those out, and I know it's bad practice, but like, I'm saying like overall in the grand scheme of things from the game, they played so well. They were in control. They gave Baker fits. Quinion Mitchell had the game of his life so far. Cooper DeJean had an amazing game. Like, Jahad Campbell, even though he got beat on that touchdown pass with Bucky Irving, he came up with that intercept. Like, I can't speak well enough about this defense and how they continue to answer the bell and continue to
just need a little bit of a pass rush. That's it.
So yeah, but
it's very close. It's very
they did pass rush. I don't know. Like I'm not as concerned about the pass rush when it comes to yesterday's game because they actually, if I saw the numbers, like they actually pressured Baker Mayfield a lot. They had a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield. They just couldn't get home. So that I guess that's the concerning part. But like I thought from an interior and pocket collapsing standpoint, they did a good job overall. So like, I think it's coming. Do they need an edge rusher? Yeah, they need another edge rusher. Like they absolutely do. But I think that they did well with what they had. So I hats off. Game ball goes to Quinion Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell. Oh my God. Insane.
He was God mode yesterday. Like you couldn't touch him.
Yeah, he was in like Champ Bailey mode yesterday. It was awesome. But Les, what's your takeaway? Your one takeaway on the defense?
Well, the long touchdowns were bad, but anytime a defense can get you 2 turnovers and a half and 2 fourth down stops, I think with the Eagles offense, you should be able to win that game. And I wasn't nearly – I didn't think it was a wonderful day for the defense because of those 2 long balls, but it was given given no Nolan Smith, which is a huge thing, really, and it's going to be a huge thing going forward. I thought they played very, very well. Bond was incredible. Campbell, you mentioned Quinion and Cooper. That's the real difference. People talk about 2023 with these narrow escape wins that
it's just not even the same thing.
Well, it's not, and the main reason it isn't is the back 7 on the defense is so different than it was in 2023.
Like unless
in 2023, the way I remember it, and maybe this isn't exactly true, but my takeaway was that the offense had to outscore the defense. The defense was so bad, and the offense.
Look at the Washington games.
The offense started pressing to do that and making Jalen was throwing interceptions, trying to play hero ball, and it all fell apart, And also the leadership wasn't what this group is. I think
you had no pass rush.
Was
the secondary was awful.
And, there was a lot going on there that I don't think is going on with this team. But I do think the defense, I am worried about a few things, but, it was they made the plays. They did not disappear in the second half like the offense did. And I think that's just Vic Fangio. That's why I said you need a guy like that for the offense, really. I just wish you had him, and you don't.
Yeah. Can I also say this before you go? Because I think you'll like what I have to say. After looking at the film, Ringo did play better than I expected. He did play better than I expected, and he didn't. I don't think he was great. I was surprised that he wasn't tested more, and I think I think that had he been tested more, there were definitely some separation and some coverage lapses that he would have given up a catch. So it wasn't perfect, it wasn't great, but I think the bigger thing for me in coverage was that he knew his assignments well. So he knew where to be. That's the main thing. I think there are still limitations in terms of athletically and movement wise, and I still am very concerned about him in run support and tackling. It just really, really
bothers me. He's got to get away from that trying to tackle people.
He's got to.
You don't do that.
Better wrap up technique, but and I've said this for weeks now. We just need adequate cornerback play out of that position. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't even have to be good, because everywhere else on the defense is good or better. We just need out going to give up consistent, huge plays. If we can get adequate play from either Ringo or Bennett, I don't think Adoree is it. I think if I were going to rank them in terms of who I have faith in, I think Adoree is last. So whether it's Ringo or Bennett, I think if they're just adequate, we'll be good. We'll be fine. So PY, go ahead. Your takeaway from the defense.
I thought the defense played really well. Obviously, I'm a little upset that the pass rush just couldn't get home a little bit better, just because there are so many times where Mayfield was dead to rights and you just couldn't get to him.
Yeah. I forget what the one play was where we should have.
Morodromo continues to excel. I'm not going to kill Jihad for that touchdown. Anytime you're covering a wide receiver for that long period of time, or running back for that period of time, you're asking to get burnt.
Yeah, it's tough.
I feel bad for Makuba, because I don't think Makuba should be. I don't think that's his fault. I think that was Cooper DeJean's fault. He tried to jump the route, and he kind of got in the middle of Makuba's coverage. That's just my opinion on that. Quinyon was. When you watch it, he's covering him, and Cooper gets tries to jump in front, and it.
I think that's Blankenship.
Or was it Blankenship? I thought it was Cooper.
Yeah, pretty sure that's Blankenship jumping in.
Yeah, that was Blankenship. It wasn't Cooper.
They all look like. But no, I was excited to see what happened with Keeley. I thought he played well. Obviously early on, he needs to tackle a little bit better. He had a fourth down pass breakup, which was great.
That was a good rep. Yeah.
Because that's a big moment. If they convert that's a different game.
That was a good rep. Yeah.
Once again, that's that big game mentality coming from Georgia, being able to do that. I understand he wasn't perfect, but he's 23 years old. He's started less than 6 games in his NFL career. I just think, while he may not be the star that some people may have hoped, think he can. It's once again, he's 23. He's had 6 games as a starter. That's not enough for me to be yep, that's it. That's what he is. Because I don't know. I don't even think
he's 24, and then he's going to be 25.
Yes, but it's early. Sometimes it takes time for when he was 20 when he came into the league. It takes time for guys to develop. It's not like he's coming in when he's 23 And like his third year is like, oh, he's 26. Oh, you kind of know what they is. Like he's ridiculously raw.
What they is.
You have to make a decision financially when he's 23.
Sure. And guess what? That's what this is. He's getting the opportunity, and he's going to show you. It's either he can take that next level and be that star that you hope he is, or at worst,
He's not a star. He's not a star.
How do you know that? How do you know he can't develop? Like, how about we give him 4 or 5 games?
He can develop, sure, but Quinyon Mitchell is a star.
No, water is wet.
Well,
Like,
right now there's no signs of
there's not enough upside on Keely Ringo for him to be a star.
Can he be a good starter? Can he be a serviceable starter? A quarterback that you took in the 4th round, if he is a serviceable starter at CB2, when you have 2 studs at CB1 and nickel, I'm okay with that. That's a steal. That's a great pick. Somewhat, not to mention the fact that he's good in special teams. Like, I know what I have in Adoree Jackson. He's not the greatest tackler. He's not the greatest in coverage. I don't like big name wide receivers on him because they baptize him in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
To be fair, though, okay, PY, to be fair, though, you weren't willing to give credit to Adoree, even though he was playing better over the past several weeks.
I'll give him credit for the Rams game. He played better in the Rams game.
So, I mean, like, there is bias here where there's a double standard where you weren't speaking this way about Adoree, even though he did improve. Yet you're willing to.
I know what Adoree is. I want to see Ringo.
I'm not saying
I want to see what Ringo. I don't care about Adoree Jackson. I know who he is. I want to see what Keely Ringo is. I want to see what he can do. I want to see what it looks like. And it's either he's going to be serviceable or good, or he's gonna shit the bed and look like James Bradbury in 2023. I'm willing to go down that road. Till it's boom or bust. I don't care. It's either he's flying high or the wagon's on fire. I'm okay with either option.
I respect that stance because you like Ringo a lot. Someone who wasn't as high on Ringo in the draft, I don't mind that route. I've seen, and there are people that agree with you. I'm not saying you're alone. I'm of the side that what I've seen from Bennett in limited reps has impressed me more than what I've seen from Ringo. I like how Bennett has sticky coverage, is better athletically, and is always around the ball and is a better tackler. That to me, I value that. So everything you said about like, hey, I want to see this move forward. Like you want to see how things go. I'd rather want to see how things go with Bennett. But
he's not coming back anytime soon. That's the problem.
And
he was available right now.
So Ringo has an opportunity now. If he can continue to not be bad, then yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with him getting the start. I just want you to be fair because we know how you were talking about Adoree when Adoree was in here. So there is a little bit of double standard. But Brinks, go ahead before we get
yeah, I mean the linebackers are unbelievable.
Yes.
Jihad, you have a second Zach Bond out there this year.
31.
With the addition of Jihad Campbell with one of the last picks in the first round. I'm not sure what everyone was looking at. Shoulder looks fine to me. But that gives Vic Fangio so many options. Like Zach Bond blitzes a lot more this season. Jihad Campbell can blitz because there's another linebacker in the middle of the field that has really no holes in his game. They tackle everything. They can cover. They're fast. They're athletic. They're always around the ball, and just unbelievable scouting over the past 2 drafts by Howie Roseman to seek out really getting. Yeah, I'm not going to put McCoob on the Pro Bowl level, but I'll put Jihad Campbell on the Pro Bowl.
I thought he was all pro.
Pro Bowl. I mean,
you said all pro.
When?
In the group chat. You said he was going to be all pro. You said he was going to be all pro. Don't jump back now.
Well, I mean that play on that play. Maybe what did I tweet something or
no, all pro.
In our chat, you did say all pro.
You said all pro. You don't get to skirt around. This isn't like last year where you're like, no good players come from small schools.
Probably right after this, he saved the game against the Chiefs because Travis Kelce can't catch.
You said it, though. You said it.
You say a lot of stuff, too.
Down. I'll stand 10 toes down with everything I say until it burns.
All right, we gotta go. We gotta go soon. We'll continue this bickering next week. But before we go, Joe does ask real quick: is what do they do with Nakobe when he comes back? Les, I'd like to get your input on this too. But I think it's even if he's going to be activated, I don't expect Nakobe Dean to be near 100% yet.
No,
at all this season at all. So I know fans are excited for him to come back because he can come back soon and all that, but I don't expect that type of injury takes a while to fully recover from.
That's exactly right, Chucks. Even if he is somehow, you're not going to sit down either of these guys to play Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean's a good player, but both of these guys are better. Maybe if it's Vic Fangio by playoff time can figure out some trick defenses where you'd get Nakobe on the field for one thing. Maybe he can make Bond or Campbell, maybe he can lessen the burden on them that they don't have to play every snap of every game. But
fair point.
But no, they're not going to sit either of these guys for Nakobe Dean at the way things are going right now.
Yeah, good point. All right, gentlemen. Awesome show. We had I figured we'd have a lot to talk about and discuss. Great conversation. We're going to have another good one, I assume, next week because we got another tough team ahead. The team that's playing right now and winning right now in the Denver Broncos. So we got a tough defense. This offense has got to wake up. I have faith in our defense. So we'll see what the offense can do, what changes they can make moving forward. For the rest of A2D, make sure you catch us on all our shows the rest of the week. Shout out to our sponsor, Baggio's Bread, one more time. And for myself, for Brinks, for Les, and for PY, we appreciate you stopping by. We'll be here same time next week. And until then, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Peace out.
Yes. Take care.